Welcome back to our channel, where we explore the beauty of literature. In today's video of Shakespeare Series, we embark on a profound journey into the realms of Sonnet 6. Join us as we unravel the intricate themes, evocative imagery, and poetic devices that ignite the lines of this sonnet. Let's start. Before we dive into the poem, let's take a moment to familiarize ourselves with the life and works of the great bard himself. William Shakespeare, often considered the greatest playwright in the English language, was born in Stratford-upon-Avon, England in 1564. Shakespeare's plays, such as Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, and Hamlet, have become iconic in the realm of literature and theatre. His sonnets are equally noteworthy and offer a glimpse into his poetic genius. Shakespeare's sonnets are a collection of 154 poems written in the late 16th and early 17th centuries. Shakespeare's sonnets are written in iambic pentameter, which gives his poetry a natural and melodic flow, enhancing the overall musicality of his verses. Sonnet 6, commencing with the line, "Then let not winter's ragged hand deface," delves into the themes of time, mortality, and the transformative power of love. In this sonnet, Shakespeare urges the subject to embrace love and procreation as a means to defy the harsh ravages of time. Before we embark on our journey through the layers of Sonnet 6, let us take a moment to appreciate its structure. This sonnet, like many others in Shakespeare's collection, consists of 14 lines in iambic pentameter, following the ABAB, CD-CD, EF-EF, G-G rhyme scheme. First, I will read the sonnet for you, and then give you a quick overview. Once that's done, we can dive into a line-by-line breakdown. Then let not winter's ragged hand deface, in thee thy summer, ere thou be distilled. Make sweet some vial, treasure thou some place, with beauty's treasure, ere it be self-killed. That uses not forbidden usury, which happeth those that pay the willing loan. That's for thyself to breed another thee, or 10 times happier, be it 10 for 1. 10 times thyself were happier than thou art, if 10 of thine 10 times refigured thee. Then what could death do if thou shouldst depart, leaving thee living in posterity? Be not self-willed, for thou art much too fair, to be death's conquest, and make worms thine heir. The sonnet opens with the speaker cautioning against the ravages of winter, both literal and metaphorical. The line, "Then let not winter's ragged hand deface, in thee thy summer, ere thou be distilled," advises the young man not to let the harsh and destructive nature of winter erase his youthful beauty before he has the chance to pass it on. The metaphor of distillation suggests the preservation and extraction of beauty. In the first quatrain, the poet encourages the young man to find a way to preserve his beauty, just as one would store a precious substance in a vial. The line, "Make sweet some vial, treasure thou some place, with beauty's treasure ere it be self-killed," emphasizes the need to safeguard and cherish beauty before it succumbs to its own mortality. The second quatrain introduces the concept of procreation and the notion that it is not a forbidden act, but rather a way to multiply and enhance one's happiness. The line, "That uses not forbidden usury, which happeth those that pay the willing loan," suggests that the act of procreation is not a form of selfishness or exploitation but rather a mutually beneficial exchange. It brings happiness to both the parent and the child, as each contributes to the continuation of beauty and life. The third quatrain emphasizes the exponential happiness that can be derived from procreation. It suggests that by having children, the young man can experience tenfold happiness, as each child represents a multiplication of his own essence and beauty. It emphasizes the idea that the continuation of one's lineage brings greater fulfillment and happiness than remaining childless. The concluding couplet delivers a warning and a plea. The poet advises the young man not to be stubborn or self-willed in refusing to procreate, as his beauty is too precious to be lost to death. The line, "Be not self-willed, for thou art much too fair, to be death's conquest and make worms thine heir," implies that by procreating, the young man can defy death, ensuring that his beauty and essence live on in his descendants rather than being consumed by worms in the grave. Sonnet 6 highlights the importance of procreation and the preservation of beauty through the passing of generations. It encourages the young man to safeguard his beauty and ensure its continuation through the act of creating offspring. The sonnet suggests that procreation is not only a duty but also a source of immense happiness, and a means to defy the inevitability of death. Now, let's see the meaning behind each line of the sonnet. "Then let not winter's ragged hand deface, in thee thy summer, ere thou be distilled." The speaker advises the subject of the poem not to let the harshness of winter ruin or damage their youthful beauty. He says, "Preserve the essence of your own summer-like beauty before it fades away or is lost." In these opening lines, Shakespeare employs vivid imagery to personify winter, depicting it as a harsh force that threatens to deface and diminish the subject's youthful beauty, symbolized by summer. He implores the subject not to let winter erode their vitality before they have the chance to distill their essence, to perpetuate their beauty through procreation. Make sweet some vial, treasure thou some place. With beauty's treasure ere it be self-killed. Store your beauty like a precious liquid in a vial or bottle, cherish and protect it in a special location. Secure your beauty as a valuable treasure before it is destroyed or lost through neglect or indifference. Shakespeare urges the subject to capture their beauty, like a precious essence, in a vial or container. By doing so, they can preserve their beauty and ensure its longevity before it is extinguished by the passage of time. The use of the term self-killed implies that beauty, if not captured and nurtured, will inevitably fade and perish on its own. That use is not forbidden usury, which happeth those that pay the willing loan. It is not considered improper or forbidden to make use of your own beauty for self-benefit. Using your beauty for personal gain brings happiness to those who willingly appreciate or enjoy it. Here, Shakespeare introduces the concept of usury, which usually implies exploitation but, in this context, refers to the act of procreation. He presents a contrasting perspective, suggesting that the use of beauty to create new life through procreation is not forbidden usury. Instead, it is a willing loan that brings happiness and fulfillment to both the giver and the recipient. That's for thyself to breed another thee, or 10 times happier, be it 10 for 1. By using your beauty wisely and proactively, you can generate another person who shares your beauty or qualities. This new person would be 10 times happier than you are, as if 10 individuals were combined into one. Shakespeare emphasizes the transformative power of procreation. He asserts that by breeding another being who carries the subject's essence, they ensure the continuation of their own legacy. Furthermore, the act of procreation brings exponential happiness, as the new life born from the subject can be 10 times happier than their predecessor. 10 times thyself were happier than thou art, if 10 of thine 10 times refigured thee. The speaker suggests that being the progenitor of another person who possesses your beauty would bring 10 times more happiness than you currently experience. If 10 individuals were to reproduce and pass down your beauty through multiple generations, Shakespeare continues to emphasize the exponential happiness that can be achieved through procreation. He suggests that if 10 individuals, each carrying the subject's essence, were to reproduce and create another generation, the resulting happiness and fulfillment would surpass what the subject could achieve alone. Then what could death do if thou shouldst depart, leaving thee living in posterity? If you were to die, your beauty would continue to live on through the legacy of your descendants. Your presence would still be alive and present in future generations. Shakespeare presents a powerful argument against self-willed solitude and self-preservation. He questions the purpose of death if the subject departs but leaves behind a living legacy in the form of posterity. Be not self-willed, for thou art much too fair, to be death's conquest and make worms thine heir. The speaker advises against being stubborn or selfish, because you are too beautiful. If you succumb to death without leaving a legacy, it would be a victory for death, and worms would inherit your beauty instead of your descendants. Shakespeare urges the subject not to be self-centered, for their beauty is too magnificent to succumb to death's conquest and become mere food for worms. In the final quatrain and couplet, Shakespeare reminds the subject that by leaving a lasting legacy through posterity, they can defy death. The beauty and qualities they pass on to future generations become an enduring testament, ensuring they live on even after death. Shakespeare urges them not to be self-centered but to embrace their beauty as a means to transcend the mortality of the physical body. Sonnet 6 leaves us with a poignant reflection on the significance of procreation in defying mortality and leaving a lasting imprint on the world. Shakespeare reminds us that our beauty and essence are meant to be passed on, ensuring our existence lives on through the generations. Shakespeare posits that through the act of creating new life and leaving a lasting impact, we can defy the clutches of death and make our mark on the world. That concludes our analysis of Shakespeare's Sonnet 6. We hope this enriched exploration has shed further light on the layers of meaning and poetic brilliance within the sonnet. Join us in our next video as we continue our immersive journey through the captivating world of Shakespeare's sonnets. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more captivating content.